If the ever-changing and fast-paced evolution of technology and business has you wishing you had the right-sized partner to guide you through your IT landscape, it's time for you to meet the experts at YASH Technologies and C5MI. Tech Talk Managing the New Normal with YASH Technologies and C5MI connects you with the best business experts who are making this happen for companies all across the world. We delve into global business challenges, from SAP S4, managed services, and the digital workplace, to live factory, infrastructure, and much more. Tune into the Business Channel to hear today's top technology industry experts share their insights on how companies like yours are partnering with YASH Technologies and C5MI to transform their IT landscapes. Welcome to a revolutionary hour of business technology talk. This is Tech Talk, Managing the New Normal, with YASH Technologies and C5MI. You'll hear from the experts with the know-how to revolutionize and transform your business for a truly efficient, actionable technology transformation during both prosperous and challenging times. Now, here's your host and moderator, Bonnie D. Graham.
And now we have Kevin Rell, who is waiting front and center. Almost there we go. Lower front and center. Kevin Rell, I'm going to do a little bit of an opening here, some remarks to set the stage for our listeners and our viewers. And rumor has it that Matthew is going to be showing a film. Marty Groover usually does that, but Matthew has graciously set up and come in and said, I will run the film. Marty couldn't be with us today. He's fine, but he couldn't be with us today. So today's manufacturers have spent much capital installing complex ERP systems to drive their transactional supply chain and manufacturing processes. These processes result in financial results based on human interactions with physical supply chain and manufacturing processes. There's a gap between the physical and the transitional, and that causes impacts to productivity and efficiency, and guess what? That impacts business outcomes. The dream, and Kevin will tell us if this is really a dream, the dream, we are told, of all manufacturing and supply chain professionals is to track their material live as it moves through the processes. How powerful would it be if you had live visibility of all of your operations in a digital production system, and it could tell you which process was behind and alert you what to do to keep it on schedule? So the new Industry 4.0, we love Industry 4.0, RTLS, and we'll talk about that. Solutions use advanced digital tracking systems that can track anything to within inches. That's good and scary and really, really good. The ability to visualize tracked items in real time is amazing, but when augmented reality and analytics are integrated in a common operational picture, it is exponentially game-changing. Kevin Rell at GreenHack, welcome. And please tell us a little bit about you, and then Matthew Stemler, you'll tell us as well. Kevin, welcome.
Thank you, Bonnie. Excited to be here, excited to tell our story. So GreenHack is a manufacturing company. We're the leader in air movement, conditioning, control equipment, the manufacturing of that equipment in the HVAC space, commercial, industrial. So my role with GreenHack is IT leader in the area of SAP ERP and all things that we call operational technology. I've spent 25 years in the manufacturing realm, IT, Lean, Six Sigma, always helping manufacturing get better, find new ways to improve productivity, service, and speed. And we'll talk more about that. Thanks for having me.
Thank you very much. Happy to have you. Matthew Stemler, you've been patiently sitting down there, and we know you're working on not too much sleep. Congratulations on the new member of your family. Hope everybody is well. Why don't you introduce yourself, Matthew Stemler?
Yeah, hi, Matthew Stemler. As Bonnie mentioned, we did just welcome our second bundle of joy into the family. So getting to sit down is a real treat right now for me. I'll do my best to make sure I don't snooze off like Beckett hopefully does on a consistent basis. But Director of Operational Intelligence at C5MI. And I had the privilege of working with Kevin, Ron, Dan, Melissa, Eric, Bob, and the rest of the GreenHack crew on just an amazing project. And we're excited to talk more about it and just super excited to be back.
Thank you very much, and glad you're staying awake for us. Matthew, rumor has it you're going to play a video, and I know we've had some wonderful videos from your colleague Marty Groover in the past couple of weeks on these webinars, and I want to alert our radio listeners that you will hear the audio. Yes, we rehearsed this. You will hear the audio, so don't worry about missing the wonderful graphics. Here we go.
Revolutionize your business in real time. Real-time data is the new advantage in business. With it, you can adapt and overcome. Without it, you react and play from behind. Connected ERP or transactional systems are no longer enough to maintain an advantage. Businesses must merge transactional systems with physical execution in real time to create a common operational picture. The technology stack used to deploy a real-time location system sends data via tags. The data is read by gateway anchors before being sent to the cloud. This flexible process provides physical accuracy from a few meters to less than a foot. When integrated with Live Factory, it provides a fully condition-based supply chain and manufacturing digital twin. Then, analytics are applied to provide proactive alerts and actionable insights for the business. Deploying C5MI's RTLS solution, Illuminate, is simple and creates a bird's eye view of the entire shop floor. Anything from a tool to a tote of materials, to a forklift, to a critical asset can be located and tracked. The tag communicates where it is, where it's been, and how long it's been there to the RTLS system. From the office, to the warehouse, to the manufacturing floor, RTLS provides the real-time physical data that businesses need to compete and win. C5MI experts are trusted business practitioners with decades of experience managing plant maintenance systems, shop floor operations, and manufacturing supply chains for Fortune 100 organizations across the globe. Let us bring your manufacturing processes into the next century and beyond.
Thank you very much, Matthew, for running that. I love the images. These are really cool. Why don't you tell us a little bit more about what this is about, Matthew, and then we're going to talk to Kevin about Greenheck. Matthew?
Yeah, certainly. So, we talked about RTLS, the real-time location services. And, I think the way to basically explain this is with manufacturing businesses in general, right? You have the frontline supervisors that can really be, the heartbeat, that heart and soul of an organization. They're getting information from two ways, right? So they have employees that are looking to them to be, their voice of the company, understanding what's going on. They're also getting all of that input or cascading down the new initiatives from the company. So there's a big stretch on their time. And quite frankly, when I was a frontline supervisor, I couldn't get it all done. And there was a piece missing. So you think of like Maslow's hierarchy of needs, those basic physiological needs, the air, the water, food, just to survive. You don't have that from a technology standpoint in manufacturing until basically now leveraging RTLS. So what I see RTLS is it is that baseline. You're just going to have it to be able to perform at the next level. And this pandemic is just, accentuating that point that without real-time data, that you don't have to go crunch and you don't have to take your time to go pass it up the food chain. You can focus on what's important. You can keep everybody engaged and you can keep moving forward. So at the heart, RTLS is going to be the foundation of businesses moving forward and getting that one version of the truth, that common operating picture of their shop floor and all their operations.
Thank you very much. John Grenier, you want to set up some conversation with Kevin? I know you're ready.
Absolutely, and Kevin can provide more insight on Greenheck's digital manufacturing journey. But what really was the setup behind all of this, and what made this a hand-in-glove fit between C5MI and Greenheck, is the fact that Greenheck has a single ERP instance in their 22 factories, and they combine that with being a leader in manufacturing integration and intelligence, or MII, you might see it referred to, again, throwing those acronyms out there. This combination is what made RTLS, or real-time tracking and location system, a perfect fit for Greenheck. And you touched on this in your opener, Bonnie. What's also, if I were one of your viewers, what would catch my attention today, or listeners, is this was implemented by and large during the pandemic disruption. And so you talk about being agile, like we discussed with John Hall at IDT, and being able to pivot and still serve the needs. This is another great example of how the client, who is a huge part in still making this a success, was able to be agile, and C5MI was able to match that with the ability to implement. So this is one of those success stories as we look at what the new normal is going to be of business. This is the model for that. It is, how do we overcome the speed bumps or maybe even mountains that get put in front of us over the rest of this year, and how do we still succeed? And I would say, as you look at the whole culmination of this Tech Talk series, we're now evolving into a system where there's really no excuses anymore. Where there's going to be a very short leash on success, and the successful companies aren't going to make excuses. They're going to find a way to get it done. And Kevin Rell and Greenheck are a great example of not making excuses, still executing, and still getting the job done. So with that, Kevin, really excited to hear your insights of the advantages of RTLS. Walk us through a little bit of that implementation and some of the benefits you're already seeing.
Yeah, so the journey we were on is really starting to look at what are the opportunities for us to get better on the shop floor. We're all about productivity, service, and speed. And honestly, the main focus there these days is speed. How can we do things more quickly? So when we started to look at opportunities, managing the flow of the work through the shop was really the key to speed. And what we saw is that it was getting done, but it was getting done through what I would consider to be, or we'll call, brute force manual. We had a lot of people on the shop floor, especially our supervisors, walking around and really making sure things were flowing smoothly. So what we saw is a huge opportunity to give that visibility to those that were managing and leading the shop floor, and those that were manufacturing the product. Give them real-time visibility. We keep saying we want to automate the mundane. Let's automate the mundane. Let's automate what can be automated, and let the people do what they need to do. So that's leadership, that's building the product. So we saw an opportunity to put technology in place, leverage the advances in technology, put that real-time visibility in place, and automate the mundane, and give the people the opportunity to lead and to make those decisions in real time.
Kevin, I understand that speed is king in your industry, and that you have seen a phenomenon we'll call the compression of time. It sounds like an existential movie, but what does that mean? The time is compressing. Well, it is. So give us a little background on what is happening in terms of needing that speed, and how this new solution is helping you achieve and maintain that.
Yeah, so everything is about speed. Speed is king. Amazon has set the bar, set the expectation, both for consumers and companies. So that expectation for things to happen more quickly, always be there on time, always happen more quickly, that is hitting our industry and hitting, pretty much every company that's out there doing really anything. Is the need to do it more quickly is becoming so important. It's such a strategic advantage to do things more quickly. So that's really what we're leveraging technology to do, is service our customers in a way that just exceeds that expectation, that's really just building and growing around speed.
Kevin, if I whispered the words Amazon experience, would that ring a bell to you in your industry?
Yes, it would. Yes, the Amazon experience is definitely setting the bar and setting the expectation for companies. You bet.
Okay, so I don't want you to give away any trade secrets. We would never ask you to do that on the Tech Talk webinar and radio show, but we would love to know, how are your people at Greenheck responding to this new need for speed as an essential business? That's really it. If you're essential, you can't say we'll get to it later, or we'll think about it, or we're not up to it today, or people didn't show up. You don't have that option. Companies are begging and clamoring to be called essential businesses where they can keep going. So how are your people responding to all of this?
Yeah, so Greenheck is an essential business. We're manufacturing product that is going into healthcare facilities, the food industry, communication, transportation, all those things that are keeping the country and the world moving right now. So, the Greenheck has responded the way Greenheck has always responded. We're a leader. We're proving to our customer base and honestly our competitors that we are the leader and we're servicing our customers in a way that's consistent with that. So that response to that need for speed in terms of how we manufacture, how we do things, how we improve, how we leverage technology, everybody is rallying around that. That's what we do. And we're finding, new ways to continue to leverage that and to get better.
Thank you, Kevin. I have two kind of interesting, I call them sexy terms on my notes here. No, John Grenier, don't get nervous here. It's okay. This is PC rated. Digital twin of machines and digital twin of the shop floor. This may be an enigma. Some people just need to go and look this stuff up, Kevin Rell. Can you tell us what it means in a real business?
Sure. So a digital twin is really the digital representation of the physical. So if you've got a physical machine, can be a digital representation of that machine, all the parts, how it works, how it's moving, how it's behaving. And the shop floor is no different. That's what we did with RTLS. That's what we did, partnered up with C5MI, is we created a digital twin of the shop floor. It's a digital representation of what's happening on the shop floor. So there's the physical, what's happening. Now we have a digital twin of what's happening, and we can view that in real time. That was the project. That's what we implemented.
Thank you very much. Matthew Stemler, why don't you join us in here and talk a little bit about what C5MI has seen, what you're doing, what your role is in all of this solution technology.
Yeah, and what Kevin hasn't mentioned, but kind of our inside joke for this project is it was imperative that it wasn't just a cute cart tracker, right? It has to provide value to those that are using it. And that's it, right? So the premise of leveraging RTLS as part of, the live factory umbrella of solutions is how do you let your employees focus on the critical few, right? If you're familiar with the DMAIC process for improving an existing process, define, measure, analyze, improve, and control, typically led by Six Sigma black belts, it can be a long, drawn out process. And a lot of stumbling blocks are just on that define, measure, and analyze. So this tool, RTLS, what Kevin talks about with that digital twin, it gives you that real life copy of what's going on. There's proactive alerting, right? The very beginning of, AI, machine learning, what's going on with that type of stuff, that you can start to look at your patterns. That's doing the define, measure, and analyze. And then, so that's freeing up the critical workforce, that frontline workforce, to do the improve and control. So we're seeing much better traction in what's going on in terms of what they can focus on and where they can really drive the value and move the company forward.
Thank you very much. Let's talk a little bit about C5 in terms of being on the factory floor of GreenHeck. Matthew, I know your colleague Marty Gruber couldn't join us today, has been talking about live factory and those kinds of solutions. Anything you want to add about that, the importance of being able to give your clients what they really need, which GreenHeck needs right now?
Yeah, certainly. Maybe I stole our thunder with the previous response there, but it is all about giving them a repeatable single version of the truth, right? When everybody's trying to do their best and people are just trying to, as Kevin mentioned, brute force, and that leads to personality driven events, and that takes a toll on your workforce, right? There's effort to get through every day if you're doing it in a manual fashion. And then let's not kid ourselves, there's a lot of other factors that are pulling on people's minds and their stressors, right? I mean, the pandemic top of mind, but before that you have all the typical ones of how my kids are doing, or hey, we got this big purchase coming up, or you name it. There's a lot of things that can wade in. Not everybody can just compartmentalize and be like, hey, I'm only focusing on GreenHeck work today. The personal lives come in, and that's where the live factory and having all of that stuff going on and providing that one version of the truth, in real time, takes some of that burden away from your employees and allows them to succeed and excel.
Thank you very much. Kevin Rell, a couple of things I want to ask you about. There are lots of definitions being bandied about for Industry 4.0. I cite them and use them on some of my radio shows. Smart factory, smart manufacturing. Is it all about employees? Is it about the shop floor? Is it about just the processes? What's your definition? And then really important to our viewers and our listeners, Kevin Rell at GreenHeck, what are the factors for success? What are the keys your company sees?
Yeah, so there's a lot of buzz out there right now around Industry 4.0 and digital factory and a lot of things. So to me, it's really just a lot of hype and buzz. What it really comes down to is improving business outcomes, improving business results. And the way you do that is providing capability that's not there today. Now, technology has improved and moved and expanded in a way that's giving us a lot more options around that than what we had before. So the pace at which technology is improving, that's just really what kind of Industry 4.0 is bundling up, is how do we provide capability through the use of technology for manufacturing. So we provide capability, then what we do there is we're looking for visibility to things we don't have visibility to, data that we don't have, and then the technology really helps us do that. So Industry 4.0 is really just about connecting things, providing visibility, leveraging that technology, but ultimately, and Bonnie, to kind of get at the second part of your question, what are those keys to success?
Mm-hmm.
Number one key to success is really focusing on business outcome. Focus on what capability is going to help manufacturing move the needle. Talk to manufacturing, get out there. And that's what we did with C5MI. Get out on the shop floor, walk the floor, ask what do you need for capability that will help you get better, will help you move things along more quickly, will help you remove waste from your process. So we focused on providing that capability. The other, key to success is really partnering with a team internally that has a passion to improve and really that drive to win. We partnered with some amazing manufacturing leaders here at Greenheck. Matthew mentioned them earlier. We've got Ron, we've got Dan, we've got Melissa, we've got Fletcher, and we've got Kevin, different Kevin. And so the folks that we partnered with, so you find that team that's passionate, they're willing to own it, they're willing to take accountability, they want to win, and it was that partnership really between IT, that internal team, and then that external team with C5MI. So that was huge for us.
Thank you, Kevin Rell. How would you suggest other industries, other companies, other businesses learn from your journey? Any words of wisdom, words of advice you'd like to share? We're almost out of time, and this is really important for our viewers and our listeners.
Yeah, so one of the things that we've really done is I like to use the mantra, you think big, you start small, and then you scale fast. You have to look for a place to start. You've got to look for that team, look for that capability that's needed. Find that thing that's always been out there that everybody's trying to find a way to fix. We said a lot through this project, when you're on solid ground, be fearless, because we knew we were on to something that was really going to help. This was solid ground. So I would say really just look for that opportunity to start somewhere, start small, find a pilot, prove it out, prove that the value's there, and then you can look to scale. So that's my advice.
Thank you very much. And what about safety in this environment of businesses reopening and going back to work? How important is that? Do you recommend where on the top of mind list for leadership should that be, Kevin?
Right now in this environment, it's at the top. It's at the top. First and foremost, people need to feel comfortable. People need to be settled into their work environment, to do good work, to think clearly. We've got to provide them with that safe environment. Safety is always first. And in this environment, it is even, come to the forefront more than ever about safety being first. So all the protocols, all the things that people need to feel comfortable and feel that risk has been mitigated around them is so important.
Thank you for tuning in to Tech Talk, Managing the New Normal with YASH Technologies and C5MI. To keep the conversation going, tweet your questions and comments to YASH_tech or email john.gretter@yash.com. That's john.gretter@yash.com. We look forward to hearing from you.